When Xiao Yan led the combined forces of the Heavenly Mansion Alliance, the Gu clan, and the ancient Void Dragon tribe into the cave of ancient god Tu Shi, everyone shared a single objective: to stop Hun Tiandi and prevent him from obtaining the only embryonic emperor pill, which would allow him to break through into the Do Di realm. Inside the palace, the greatest attention was drawn to two things: the pill itself and the vast heavenly flame plaza. At that moment, everyone believed that the embryonic emperor pill was the greatest treasure hidden within this place. Therefore, when Hun Tiandi seized the pill and escaped, Xiao Yan and the others remained standing in the now empty palace, overwhelmed by despair. Hun Tiandi had obtained the key to supreme ascension, while their own side seemed to have gained absolutely nothing in return. When everyone's fighting spirit had completely collapsed and people began to believe that all of their efforts had been in vain, the old dragon emperor Zhu Kuan, who had been imprisoned for tens of thousands of years, suddenly spoke. "If he can become a Do Di," he said calmly, "then we can create a Do Di of our own." For a brief moment, it felt as though time itself had frozen. Even Gu Yuan widened his eyes in astonishment and stared at Zhu Kuan. "Are you joking?" Zhu Kuan merely gave a bitter smile. "Do I look like someone who is in the mood for jokes? If the heavens still favor us, then a Do Di may truly appear on our side as well." After saying this, he slowly raised his head and looked toward the enormous heavenly flame plaza that had been brought out from Tu Shi's dwelling. After remaining silent for a moment, he continued, "In truth, the embryonic emperor pill is not the most valuable treasure in this place." Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. He pointed toward the heavenly flame plaza floating in midair and asked, "Senior Zhu Kuan, are you talking about this?" Zhu Kuan glanced at him. "What else would I be talking about? Did you really think I dragged this thing out here just for amusement?" With a wave of his sleeve, he led everyone onto the plaza. Looking up at the majestic ancient stone statue, he slowly asked, "Does anyone here know the true origin and identity of ancient god Tu Shi?" Everyone exchanged glances before shaking their heads. To all of them, ancient god Tu Shi had always remained an unsolved mystery. No one knew where he had come from. During that distant era, countless supreme experts had attempted to break through into the Do Di realm, yet every one of them had failed. Then, at the very moment when hope seemed completely lost, the previously unknown Tu Shi suddenly appeared as though he had emerged from nowhere. Gu Yuan lowered his head in thought as he recalled the ancient records preserved within the Gu clan. It is said that when ancient god Tu Shi advanced to Do Di, an endless sea of heavenly flames descended from the heavens and covered nearly half of the Do Chi continent. But after that, he vanished without leaving a single trace. Logically speaking, after becoming a Do Di, his bloodline should have immediately awakened within his descendants. The first generation of heirs would have inherited unimaginable advantages. If a new ancient clan carrying his bloodline had appeared, it would have shaken the entire Do Chi continent. And yet, nothing like that ever happened. On the Do Chi continent, bloodline means everything, especially to the greatest experts. Nevertheless, ancient god Tu Shi always remained completely alone. After finishing, Gu Yuan turned toward Zhu Kuan. "Am I mistaken?" Zhu Kuan gazed quietly at the gigantic statue before answering. "Overall, no. Among all heavenly flames, there are 23 flames recorded within the heavenly flame ranking. But do you know the name of the flame that occupies the first place?" The question immediately shocked Xiao Yan. Among everyone present, he understood heavenly flames better than almost anyone alive. Yet even he had never known what the first heavenly flame truly was. Unable to suppress his curiosity, he asked, "Senior Zhu Kuan, do you know?" A strange smile appeared on Zhu Kuan's face. In this world, there has never been a fixed, first heavenly flame. Everything born between heaven and earth possesses a spirit, and heavenly flames are no exception. As far as I know, a very special flame was once born between heaven and earth. It spent 1,000 years taking shape, and another 10,000 years awakening its consciousness. After an unimaginably long period of cultivation, it eventually underwent a mutation. Everyone knew that heavenly flames normally never left the places where they were born. But this flame was different. After gaining intelligence, it began wandering through the underground magma world, devouring other kinds of heavenly flames. Every flame it consumed was one of the famous heavenly flames listed in the heavenly flame ranking. 21 heavenly flames eventually became its prey. After countless ages spent devouring 20 different heavenly flames, even supreme existences such as the Nihility devouring flame and the purifying demonic lotus flame could only bow before it. Hearing this, Xiao Yan was completely stunned. Zhu Kuan continued. In other words, the so-called first heavenly flame has no permanent form. Any heavenly flame that emerges victorious from this cruel war of devouring can become the first. However, devouring another heavenly flame almost always results in violent clashes and mutual destruction. Only the one flame that succeeds in devouring the other 21 heavenly flames and survives has the right to be called the first heavenly flame. Everyone unconsciously drew in a deep breath. For the first time, they learned that the strongest heavenly flame was not a specific flame at all, but rather the ultimate existence born after the fusion of 22 different heavenly flames. After completing this unimaginable evolution, the flame gave itself a name, Diyan. Then, after cultivating for another 1,000 years, it finally surpassed all of its natural limits. At that moment, Zhu Kuan's expression became unusually complicated. After its breakthrough, when it appeared before the world once again, people gave it another name. They called it Ancient God Tu Shi. The entire plaza instantly fell into absolute silence. Everyone stood frozen as though struck by heavenly lightning. No one could believe what they had just heard. Only after a long while did someone swallow heavily, breaking the silence. Only then did the others gradually regain their senses. They looked at one another, their faces filled with complete disbelief. Finally, Gu Yuan slowly asked, "Brother Zhu Kuan, is this really true?" Zhu Kuan smiled faintly. "When it comes to the ancient ages, who among you could possibly know more of the secrets of the past than I do?" The others silently nodded. There was no reason whatsoever for Zhu Kuan to deceive them. As the initial shock slowly subsided, they gradually began to accept this seemingly impossible truth. Then Gu Yuan asked, "But what does all of this have to do with what you said earlier? That we can create a Do-Di of our own?" Zhu Kuan fixed his eyes on the enormous stone statue. Inside this cave lie two priceless treasures. The first is the embryonic emperor pill that Han Tiandi has already taken. The second is the emperor source left behind by ancient god Tu Shi. You may regard it as Tu Shi's inheritance. It is the true greatest treasure hidden within this palace. If we can obtain the emperor source, then a Do-Di will also appear on our side. And once that happens, it won't matter even if Han Tiandi breaks through first. After hearing those words, everyone's eyes lit up once again. Within the endless darkness of despair, hope had suddenly appeared before them once more. After hesitating for a moment, Gu Yuan asked, "Then, where is this emperor source?" Zhu Kuan walked toward the stone statue and gently patted it. "Inside. But no one is capable of entering. Even if all of us combine our strength, we still won't be able to damage this statue." The others immediately stepped closer and carefully examined the statue. To the touch, it felt like nothing more than an ordinary piece of ancient stone. At that very moment, Lei Ying, the patriarch of the Lei clan, suddenly threw a devastating punch with all his strength. A deafening explosion echoed across the plaza, yet in the next instant, he himself was violently blasted backward. Everyone was stunned. Lei Ying's punch possessed enough power to shatter mountains and split the earth, yet the stone statue remained completely unharmed. Not even the slightest crack appeared upon its surface. Gu Yuan frowned deeply. There must be some special method. Zhu Kuan slowly shook his head. Perhaps. But the emperor source cannot be accepted by just anyone. If an unsuitable person attempts to refine it, the consequences could very well be fatal. Ancient God Tu Shi was originally a heavenly flame. Therefore, his rejection towards someone closely connected to heavenly flames should be far weaker. The moment those words were spoken, everyone froze. Then, almost instinctively, every pair of eyes turned toward Xiao Yan at the very same time. Among everyone present, no one was closer to the heavenly flames or understood them better than he did. Even Xiao Yan himself was momentarily stunned. After a brief silence, he smiled helplessly. I think, before anything else, we should first figure out how to extract the Emperor Source from inside the statue. The others chuckled quietly. However, their smiles quickly faded as they once again sank into deep thought. About half an hour passed. Yet despite everyone's combined wisdom, not a single useful solution was found. Even Xiao Yan found himself completely at a loss. For the first time in quite a while, someone who had overcome countless impossible obstacles could not think of a single way forward. Just as he was about to abandon the attempt, the newly evolved heavenly flame within his body, born after fusing with the purifying demonic lotus flame, suddenly sensed a mysterious resonance. It felt the call of a power that originated from the very same source. Responding entirely on its own, the heavenly flame burst out from Xiao Yan's body without any command. At that instant, everyone watched in astonishment. Under the influence of this mysterious resonance, fine cracks slowly began spreading across the chest of the enormous stone statue. One crack became several. Several became dozens. Then, with a low rumbling sound, dazzling light erupted from within. An incomparably brilliant radiance burst outward and instantly enveloped the entire plaza. However, the pressure hidden inside that light was unimaginably terrifying. Even peak 9-star saints such as Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan could not withstand it. Their bodies trembled violently before they were forced to one knee by the overwhelming pressure. The surrounding experts fared even worse. Many were unable to resist at all and were pressed completely to the ground. Only one person remained standing calmly inside the sea of light: Xiao Yan. Not only did the light fail to harm him, he felt no pressure whatsoever. It was as though the radiance itself recognized him. Thanks to his flame mantra and the many heavenly flames fused within his body, Xiao Yan had become the one person acknowledged by the inheritance of ancient god Tu Shi. The brilliant light gently wrapped around him instead of suppressing him. It resembled a reunion after countless ages rather than a trial. Everyone stared at Xiao Yan in complete disbelief. No one had expected the mysterious inheritance to react the moment his heavenly flame appeared. Even Zhu Kuan's eyes filled with astonishment. It really chose him. He muttered softly. Gu Yuan slowly nodded. It seems our gamble was correct. The dazzling radiance continued shining as countless ancient flame symbols gradually appeared within the light. Every symbol carried an indescribable ancient aura. It felt as though the entire history of the heavenly flames had awakened before everyone's eyes. The pressure became increasingly terrifying. Yet Xiao Yan remained completely unaffected. Instead, he slowly stepped forward. Each step brought him closer to the cracked statue. The surrounding light naturally parted before him, opening a path as though welcoming its rightful successor. Then, the crack across the statue suddenly widened. A warm, ancient, almost divine aura slowly flowed outward. It carried neither destructive power nor killing intent. Instead, it contained an indescribable life force and supreme authority that surpassed all heavenly flames. It was the Emperor Source, the true inheritance personally left behind by ancient god Tu Shi. At that moment, Xiao Yan finally understood why even the embryonic Emperor Pill could not compare to this treasure. The Emperor Pill could create a Do-Di. But the Emperor Source was the very foundation that had once allowed ancient god Tu Shi himself to transcend all limits. Bathing in the radiance of the primal source of all flames, Xiao Yan truly stepped onto the path toward an entirely new realm of power. Yes. What an astonishing revelation. For the very first time, Xiao Yan had learned the true secret behind ancient god Tu Shi. Write in the comments what you think. Why did Tu Shi leave behind both the Emperor Pill and his inheritance before disappearing? Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.